Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WWE Raw live post show. This is your boy Ango, joined by Billy TKO on YouTube. Billy, welcome back. It's been a minute since we did a stream. We had to take a little bit of a break, but we're back.
Sir. We are.
Dude, WWE Raw, a lot of good things, some questionable things on my end as well. Definitely want to talk about it, but how you feeling, my dog?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I think we should bring it up really fast. The Lions are going to the NFC Championship, and I'm not done talking about it.
Yeah, I'm not done talking about it either, dude. You know, it's funny because a lot of people were asking me, they're like, bro, you didn't make a video today. I'm like, I need to think. I need to unwind a little bit and relax because, yeah, the Detroit Lions are one game away from going to the Super Bowl. And it's
insane. It's insane.
It's insane. Very insane. And I'm very happy about that. And if you're a viewer from Michigan, then you already know our excitement.
Yep.
But today, we're not talking about the Super Bowl.
We're
not talking about the NFL. We're talking about WWE Raw. I would say a very solid show. And obviously, there's a lot to uncover and a lot to discuss. So I'm glad that you're here with us. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Billy, you already know. Go ahead and click the link in the description, youtube.com/@BillyTKO. And if you guys want to support the channel, the way to do that, drop a super chat, drop a comment, get your comments and questions read on the stream. We're going to deep dive into everything today. And if you don't have the ability to drop a super chat or anything like that, that's completely fine. You could become a member, or you could even just simply click that like button. And no matter what, it would be very appreciated. Billy.
Yes, sir.
I want to start. I don't want to start from the beginning. I don't want to start from the end. I want to start from the middle of the show.
Yeah, go ahead. Hit me with it.
Guys, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk. Holy shit. Holy shit indeed. Billy, before we talk about the segment in depth and break it down, I just want to get your overall impression on this segment.
I mean, it was everything that I wanted it to be. I'll tell you that. I got everything, every little emotion that I could have wanted. I got out of it. It felt big time. It felt must-see. I got everything that I needed. And to anybody who disagrees, I'm just here to tell you you're wrong. That's all.
So, listen, I'm gonna just put this out there, okay? I'm gonna just put this out there. We have to normalize changing our minds.
Yes.
And look, yes. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been very much on this boat. I know everybody knows this. If you watch this channel, if you watched our live streams, I have been beating to shit Cody Rhodes versus Roman over The Rock.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Billy, I might be crazy.
Hit me.
I think I need Cody versus Punk at WrestleMania.
What?
Listen, if The Rock is taking up the WrestleMania Night 2 main event, if that's the direction that they're going, I have an idea. I have an idea that I think could work.
Okay, so before we go any further, I need you to stop and I need you to explain this idea because I need this to make sense in my head before I move on, or it'll drive me crazy all night.
I got you. Okay. Right. Listen, I think Cody and Roman is the match, and that is the match to lead with 1000%.
Yes.
If they're very keen on keeping Roman versus Rock Night 2 of WrestleMania, I move forward with Cody versus CM Punk headlining Night 1 of WrestleMania. And what I would do, because there's going to be a lot of people saying, hey, what about Cody finishing the story? WWE, if I remember correctly, they're taking Money in the Bank internationally again, or whatever.
Are they? Yes, Canada.
It's in Canada, yeah. So technically international.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Cody versus CM Punk should happen at WrestleMania Night 1. Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania Night 2. And I want Cody Rhodes to win Money in the Bank in 2024. What I also want to happen is that Cody Rhodes wins Money in the Bank, and literally the same night or the next episode of Raw, I want him to say that he's coming to SmackDown and he will confront Roman Reigns face to face, because I want him to go to Roman Reigns face to face and say, listen, I am a hardworking man. I've done everything I can. I am not going to cash in on you as a coward. I am going to cash in on you in advance and set up the pay-per-view main event, whichever pay-per-view is coming up at that point in time. I don't know. Probably SummerSlam. Yeah. Stadium show, SummerSlam. I don't really care. At this point, if WWE is leaning towards Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, then I want Cody versus CM Punk, because that segment sold it to me. And on top of that, Cody winning the Money in the Bank is a great way to get him a chance to jump over to SmackDown and say face to face, I am doing this in advance. May the best man win. And I want him to finish the story. But if Rock and Roman is the bump in the road, this is the way to get over that hurdle.
Right. Now, I do want to mention that you actually talked about it over on your channel, WWE 2K24, and they talked about how The Rock was actually not a bump in the road for Cody. Yeah. That was some little nudge, little wink, wink, little hint, hint there. I kind of agree, but not to the full extent that you'd believe, right? Like, I like the idea of it, but I still cannot there's something about the story, right? That you have Roman and Rock at the Elimination Chamber, and you bring Roman in at WrestleMania, and he is the biggest of the big.
Yeah.
And you get that moment with Cody. I just don't think, because of it being WrestleMania, that you can get it on the scale that level at a SummerSlam. You know, I get it. You know, the idea of wanting it at the Money in the Bank and stuff like that, and having the Money in the Bank briefcase, that would make the briefcase feel beyond important. But again, it goes down to, I've seen stuff like this before. I know what this is. I'd like to have Cody get that moment that he so rightfully deserves.
100%, brother.
That we've been waiting for since he got here.
Listen, brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. I get it.
Yeah.
But if WWE has to take a detour because Rock versus Roman's happening at WrestleMania, that's the way to do it. And it sucks that The Rock has to take a spot away from Cody, you know, in that sense of the thing. But I do want to give credit to WWE in this regard, because I feel like they do deserve a little bit of credit here. For as shitty as the situation is, and we still don't know how it's going to pan out, like we really don't know.
Right.
I want to give props to WWE for creating multiple top stars, multiple top baby faces, and multiple top potential feuds, not only in the men's division, but also in the women's division, because we can argue all day with the amount of different potential WrestleMania main events. And I want, trust me, I want Cody versus Roman, but if they're very keen on The Rock versus Roman, tonight sold me on Cody versus Punk, because tonight they showed me exactly what AEW dropped the ball, how they dropped the ball.
Yeah, two times.
They showed me that this is massive feud. There's nothing bigger than this. And all it took was a 15-minute promo battle.
And it's really crazy to think that just a couple months apart, these dudes were in and out of AEW.
Yes. Well, I mean, this segment was a big fuck you to AEW as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Man, I mean, and then to not mention it, right?
They don't have to.
They don't have to. You're right.
Yeah.
But to not mention it, that's almost a bigger slap in the face, to be like, hey, this is everything that you lost.
Yeah. Watch
what we do with it.
100%. I want to recap something in this promo.
Okay.
I texted Billy immediately. This was cold. These lines were cold, and I actually wrote them down.
Good.
So CM Punk was, Cody asks him, he says, hey, like, what do you want to talk about? Right?
Of course.
Yeah. Nola, what do you want to talk about? Better yet, CM Punk, what do you want to talk about? And I like the way they open. And CM Punk says, I want to talk about your dad, which it's so funny because Cody can never escape this and whatever. But yeah, it does make for good content. And CM Punk says some sort of line where he goes, my dad wasn't famous. He was blue collar. He was an electrician. I'm more of the American dream than you are. When he says this line, it's a few moments after he's talking about how in OVW in 2007, Dusty Rhodes asked CM Punk to look over Cody.
Yeah.
And he continues to praise Cody in this promo battle, which I like, but he's also taking his digs too.
Yeah.
And I love this. I was like, wow, this is really like, what a punchline, right? Because it's true. Blue collar, electrician.
Yeah, 100%. Cody came up a certain way, right?
Especially me and you being like music artists or whatever, like having an understanding of wordplay. This was fire.
Right.
But then Cody had a good response. Guys, this is what Cody says. He says, when you left, you didn't pass the torch. You dropped it. You know who picked it up? I did. Everything you spoke about in the pipe bomb, I did. When you talked, I walked. What's actually ironic is that makes me more CM Punk than you.
Oh my
Bars.
God. Bars, bro. Heavy bars. Somebody needs to put that on the hip hop news.
Oh, dude, this was this promo battle just was great. And you know, I want to give props to them because the aura surrounding the segment was fantastic. But if you didn't watch this episode, and let alone this promo, you can see the crowd was actually like, they weren't sure on who to chant for. CM Punk, Cody, they're conflicted.
Yeah.
But this isn't a forced promo. This isn't a scripted promo. This felt very real life. It felt very humane. Very, very humane. Two humans interacting and talking, praising each other. And I like the fact that Punk even said it too. He's like, Saturday, like I can separate or for Sunday. Yeah. He's like, I can separate personal from business.
Yeah.
And I don't know, kind of seems like a little bit of a shot towards AEW because realistically, they could have really just, CM Punk and WWE has made me really think about how much AEW effed up in that regard. Yeah. And people will say that like, oh, this is Ango taking a dig at AEW. But no, I mean, you literally lost your EVP and your biggest draw in the company. And right now you're in the midst of trying to find your identity again. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I'm watching WWE Raw and they did not have to mention AEW once to put this segment over. And I like that. I like the fact that this was just very real and there was a sense of emotion attachment to it. Yeah. And then on top of that, Cody walks by with Punk right there. You know, they tap shoulders and CM Punk is pissed. And then they go face to face.
I did love the beginning, how I thought Cody was going to like take a minute to talk and they just instantly got to it.
100%.
I love that. I love that. Didn't make me wait for nothing. Put them out there.
This was a very, very good segment, guys. And I'm just going to throw this and say this with like 100% sincerity. This is the type of stuff that I don't know if I even expected it tonight. I expected them to have a very brief interaction, and WWE had done something that for the last few years, I don't recall being this excited for the Royal Rumble. I'm actually fucking very, very like shook in regards to this build.
Can I be honest with you real fast?
Yeah.
And I really want to mention this on stream just so maybe people can understand. Cody is your guy.
Yeah.
Cody is 100% your guy. And why is Cody your guy? Well, I've been watching wrestling. I tuned back in. I stopped watching in 2012 and I tuned back in 2016, right? But in 2012, there was a gentleman. There was a gentleman by the name of John Cena.
Yeah.
Who in the early 2010s, whatever, 2000s, whatever, made me feel something and got me excited for wrestling, right?
Yeah.
In 2023, 2024, it felt like we were missing that atmosphere. Yeah. That exciting atmosphere. It was like, who's going to step up? Because you could say all day that Roman took it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Roman has done nearly the amount of what John Cena did.
I don't think it's apples to apples.
No, I don't either. Yeah. I don't either. But I will say that if you're going to strap a rocket ship on the back of a guy, I don't think right now that there is any better person than Cody Rhodes. Not after watching that segment. That felt important. And it was with CM Punk, too, who was another guy that they just brought back in with the idea of he's going to be a top star here.
Yeah. This, my favorite word when it comes to things like this is aura.
Yes.
And the Bloodline has had a amazing storyline and amazing matches and big time things. But when it came to an episode of WWE Raw, this was that aura that I personally would like to compare it more to Austin and Rock, which is a very bold comparison.
Yeah.
But I do think that's where this kind
I
of
think the
reminded me.
duo of them is
Yes,
100%. Yeah.
they complement each other very well. And it's funny because WWE did this on purpose. Punk has been back since Survivor Series, but
Yeah.
they want this to feel special when he goes into the Rumble. They want his first match to feel special. He's not getting physical with these guys. And I like that because it really allows us to focus on everything else that's happening on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular situation, when they bump shoulders, I'm thinking, oh, GTS, right?
Here it comes.
And then they both exit on the opposite sides of the ring. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This to me felt like Rock and Austin on the mic. And most importantly, when you bring up John Cena and you bring up Roman Reigns, I feel like this is kind of in its own territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very, very good segment. This was, like I said, they were shooting hard.
Yeah.
I like references to the pipe bomb.
So did I.
I see some people in the chat saying they should have mentioned AEW. Nope. AEW should never be acknowledged on WWE television because AEW is not even on their level. And I'm not saying this to be a dickhead. I'm not saying this listen, Tony Khan, if you're watching this, right? You can talk about WWE all day. You can have your guys reference WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, but you do, right? And you could do that because you're the little guy in comparison. Not saying that you're not good. I'm not saying you're not successful. I'm not saying anything, but you're the little guy. Right. There is no necessary reason for WWE when they have a former EVP and CM Punk in the company in the same ring. They don't need to talk about AEW because nobody gives a fuck about AEW. And the reason why that's the case, listen to the crowd. They don't care. When CM Punk mentioned the little shot that he did in the promo, yeah, when he talked about AEW initially, it was crickets. People didn't give a fuck about AEW.
That's because the WWE is built off a casual viewer.
It has nothing to do with casuals. It has nothing to do with that. It's WWE is in its own world. And they don't care about anything and everything else. And the audience doesn't care about anything and everything else. If you're a WWE viewer and you watch other things outside of WWE, it's not going to change the way you look at WWE. You're going to like WWE for what it is, and you're going to like the other stuff for what that is. And I think people really need to understand that. Like these companies, there is a huge difference in these companies and the way that these companies actually produce television. And at the end of the day, I think it is very important for AEW to focus on themselves. And I think WWE focusing on AEW would be like, what are you doing? Are you stupid?
Yeah, it'd almost be like going backwards.
You never, ever, ever do that, especially when this promo battle was real and human and just you saw the emotion and the human side of these things. Bringing up AEW, like as a viewer, why would I care that
about
these guys
in that situation? Why would I care about another company?
Exactly. And by the way, that previous company, yes, I understand it's the reason why Cody really got to the next level. 100%, we can credit that.
Mm-hmm.
But Cody took that, went to WWE, and through WWE's booking and Cody's presentation and his performance, it's led him to here where we can confidently say Cody Rhodes, in my opinion, is the new John Cena. He's the guy who's taken that torch. He's ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
And me personally speaking, when I see this segment and I say Cody, and Punk reminds me a little bit of Rock and Stone Cold. Yeah. The reason why I felt that way was because that was the aura that this segment had. Right. And I'm sorry, but mentioning AEW to me looks like a cheesy, cringy move.
Just looking for the cheap pop.
From who?
Right.
From who? This crowd was not a great crowd tonight. It had its moments, but they weren't a great crowd.
But that moment in that segment, that crowd was great.
And why? Because they mentioned Dusty Rhodes. It was the American dream. I'm more CM Punk than you. The pipe bomb. It was like an inspiration type thing, but you left.
I think you pinpointed it perfectly fine, dude. The idea that these are just two humans who want the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you build this. It's two guys who want the same. That's how they built Rock and Austin. You make a very good point when you say that.
It feels like a massive deal. And that's why I said I think if they're really going to lean into The Rock and Roman, Punk and Cody is the match. Now,
I'll tell you what. If you book it like that, that's how you put asses in seats.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, they already got asses in seats, which is funny. They're
Mhm.
selling tickets to WrestleMania like it's no other. But we keep talking on Raw review shows specifically where I'm like, I think CM Punk heel turn, Summer of Punk.
Yeah.
Dog. Like, I don't know, man. It wouldn't be a bad idea to see Cody and Seth drop titles back and forth. Not hot potato, of course, not so quickly, but
But have good matches between one another and dropping them.
This to me feels more like a planted seed than the actual direction for WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're planting the seed for Royal Rumble, but I got to give them props because this is the first Royal Rumble where, yeah, I think it is easy to say Punk and Cody can win. And we'll obviously talk a little bit about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest and other stuff later on the show, but this is the first
very
Royal
close.
Rumble.
We're so very close to Saturday.
And I don't know who actually is walking out.
I have no clue. I don't know what the plan. That is the most exciting thing about being a fan right now is that I have, because normally, right, going back to what it was, oh, you see it on Twitter, somebody leaks it, whatever the case may be. Dude, right now, not a clue.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on, what's going to happen. Got me excited, got me feeling really good about Saturday.
Yeah, this is the most hyped I've been for a Royal Rumble in a long time. I did want to read a couple shout outs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cameron Johnson for extending his membership for 13 months. He said Triple H cooked tonight, 9 out of 10 show. Appreciate that, Cam. We got a super chat from I Am Not Avery for $4.99. He says Cody versus Punk is a SummerSlam match along with Okada versus Gunther for the IC title. And I also want to throw this out there. Just hypothetical situation. Let's just say Cody versus Roman is on for WrestleMania Night 2. Cody finishes the story. Yeah. Cody has several amazing feuds waiting for him. Randy Orton being one of them, which they have to touch on that at some point.
I think they will.
And I have no issue with Cody versus Punk at SummerSlam. In fact, we talk about the summer of Punk, heel Punk, corporate man Punk, all these things that I've been theorizing for weeks and weeks and weeks on this channel.
Corporate man Punk versus Super Cody.
It works. It could get there. They can do it. It fucking works. And what actually intrigues me about that too is our good friend, I Am Not Avery, loyal viewer of the channel, dropping the super chat, brought up something that I wanted to talk about a little bit later on to the show. But he used two names that I found very interesting. He says Okada versus Gunther for the IC title. And I want to throw this out there because I have been under this belief that Gunther is going to go very far into the Royal Rumble. Brock Lesnar is going to come in and take him out, set up the match for WrestleMania. I think that's the working plan. However, this is where I disagree with I Am Not Avery. Okada versus Gunther for the IC title.
Nah.
You don't hold off on that. You don't hold off on that until SummerSlam. You do that at WrestleMania. Okada wants to wrestle at WrestleMania. That's something that NJPW sources that are close to him have said. And if that is the case, you put Gunther versus Okada at WrestleMania and you have Okada dethrone Gunther. And the way that you do it, which by the way, this is insanity because this is not a world championship, but you do it the same exact way as you did Seth Rollins versus Cody at WrestleMania. The same exact way. You do it that way. You literally have Gunther waiting for somebody to come out and you hear coins falling, the sound effect.
Yeah.
And Okada comes out and he dethrones Gunther. And I don't care what anybody says. The way you position it is Gunther is doing an open challenge to anybody in the back.
Almost kind of like they did with Seth.
Very, very, very much like that. And that to me is WrestleMania. That to me sets the precedence that Okada is a very big deal. And
you can also make it Brock Lesnar in that situation. I know not.
Nope. The Brock Lesnar thing has to happen at the Royal Rumble.
Okay. All right.
100%, because you got to have a logical reason as to why Gunther would get eliminated. And I'm sorry, but him getting thrown out by Brock Lesnar is a very credible thing.
Yeah, okay, I understand, but getting tossed out by like a Cody or something like that, you don't think that'd be credible enough?
It's credible because obviously that's how he got eliminated last
year.
Right. I don't want to see the same thing 2 years in a row.
Okay,
so I want to see a surprise. But here's the thing, right? If let's just say it is Okada versus Gunther at WrestleMania, like that's even fucking crazy to think it's even a possibility, which I'm 50-50 on it, right? But let's say that actually happened. Gunther could get thrown out by 6 people at the Royal Rumble. It don't matter. Just give me Okada and Gunther at WrestleMania and I'll be happy.
Right. I agree.
it's interesting because Gunther also went face to face with Seth Rollins, which we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Gunther is also adding to the unpredictability of the Royal Rumble. This guy, I love this. Everybody wants to be the fucking world champion. Everybody wants to headline WrestleMania, and everybody will do what they got to do to get there. Like that's an exciting thing in WWE because it adds to the unpredictability.
Absolutely.
I am not Avery. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Robin Plays Games extended his membership for 27 months.
Wow.
He says, hello, Mr. Jobber, Ango, and the Money Man Billy. I'm quite excited for WWE 2K24. Seems exciting as just hoping online is compatible. Can't wait to beat you. Yeah, Robin threw out a little bit of a challenge earlier on Twitter X.
Yeah.
Robin, don't get too excited, buddy, because, you know, special guest referee, casket matches. There's a lot of stuff they're cooking in WWE. And with CM Punk potentially being back in the game, and who knows, man, there's a plethora of people that could be joining that game.
I don't play video games, and I texted you about it, and I said I was going to buy it.
No, it looks lit. I'm hyped.
It does.
So I don't want Robin to get excited because I would really hate to embarrass him live.
Oh, come on. I give Robin a chance, man. I think what?
Nah.
That's
Robin's
crazy.
Buried.
That's crazy.
Robin for sure is getting buried.
I got my money on Robin.
That's nice, dude. Bet against me. That's real nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Robin, 27 months. Appreciate you, big dog. Richard Martinez dropping a $5 super chat. He says, in your honest opinion, has WWE's women's booking got worse? These Raw, Shayna, Zoe tag matches becoming a norm and other matches getting little time. Billy, I'll let you answer first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't see that as a thing right now. In fact, I think it's getting more light than I've seen in a long time. Would you agree? I feel like right now, the light that the women's division is getting is better than I've seen it. Is it the greatest? No, I'm not going to sit here and praise it all the way. The booking of the women right now, you have Nia Jax, you have Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. That whole story between those three, right? Outstanding stuff. The tag team stuff, I get it. You know, that tag team division kind of has always been kind of bruised a little bit, just the way it was brought in and stuff like that. I feel like it was kind of bruised from the start. So Triple H is doing what he can to make it make sense to you without just pulling it away from you and then giving you no logical reason to why he pulled it away from you. That's 100% what's going on. So all these matches that you're seeing, they're there for a reason. He's trying to tell you a story. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. Yeah. But he's trying to make things make sense, which as a viewer, I can appreciate.
100%. And I agree with that. And I think the big thing too, that a lot of people aren't talking about, but Damage Control was on Raw today. And I was like, what the fuck? Why is Bayley and Damage Control on Raw? Like, I know what's happening on SmackDown, but why is it happening on Raw? And then later on in the episode, Adam Pearce is confronted by Damage Control. He's actually confronted by Natalya and Tegan Knox, who are pissed off for being disrespected. Mm-hmm. This was a great segment because this is Adam Pearce basically telling the viewers, hey, like, women's wrestling matters. And now he's got different issues to handle. But then what was really fascinating was Dakota Kai talking about Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
And Adam Pearce took a shot at Nick Aldis, and
the little beefs.
They're adding a little bit of they're not insulting your intelligence, and it's logical. Okay. In terms of the match quality, Richard, I'll say this: wrestling is very subjective. Mm-hmm. I think in terms of certain matches getting more time than the others, that's, you know, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying to get onto these shows. But more women have been on Raw, SmackDown, in recent months. More storylines are happening on Raw and SmackDown regarding the women's division. And it seems like for the first time since the actual women's tag team belts have even come onto WWE programming, there's actually like storylines with them. They're actually on TV. There's continuity with it. Is it perfect? No. But what do we say, Billy? Reconditioning your audience and make it sound like it matters. And perception is everything. If you're expecting women's tag match bangers, they're not trying to recondition you that these people can wrestle. They're trying to recondition you to the point that it actually matters.
Right.
And it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Nope.
Thank you, Richard Martinez, for the super chat. We got one from Justin Kennington. He says, I think we get Okada versus Styles at Mania.
I'd love that. I'd love that. Put that on WrestleMania just because.
Well, if it's Okada versus Gunther or Okada versus AJ Styles, I'm choosing Okada versus Gunther every time.
But I'll tell you logically, I don't need logic for Okada versus AJ Styles. I don't even need it. As a wrestling fan, I don't need it. Throw logic out the window. I don't even care. Just put it on the show so I can watch it. Because that's one of those matches I'm watching just for the wrestling.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool and fine and dandy. But the cool thing is they can do
great stories with it.
they could do so much, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the Seth Rollins Cody thing set up the perfect scenario. I really personally just love the idea of Okada versus Gunther, because we often talk about who can Gunther lose the belt to, and there's a lot of people: Chad Gable, Ivar, Big Bronson Reed. I don't know, and maybe we're all getting ahead of ourselves. But me personally, dog, I'm telling you, Okada versus Gunther would be like fucking tears coming down my eyes, especially if you do, because it fits with Gunther's character.
Right?
I'm the longest reigning IC champion. You don't put me on the card, like literally, you don't put me on WrestleMania. You don't put me on WrestleMania. I'm
hijacking to have Okada walk out in front of 70,000 people.
Yes, bro. Please tell me this wouldn't be a massive moment. I'm telling you guys, people would go berserk. And it's because there's so much intrigue about Okada potentially coming to WWE. And I think he leans more towards AEW. But at the same time, too, if we're talking about a WWE scenario, I promise you, I fucking promise you, I know for a fact that people will go crazy with this. Gunther running Imperium, taking over the show. Nobody's been able to beat me, and I'm putting my belt on the line. And you know what? You have Okada come out. People will react. I don't care what anybody says. People will react to Okada. He is the biggest star from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
WWE set the precedent with Cody Rhodes coming in at WrestleMania that's how somebody like Okada should be treated walking into the company.
100%.
Yeah.
You can always announce it ahead of time too.
Right, just to build up a little more hype.
But WrestleMania is already selling, bro.
Yeah.
They don't look, that's the thing. Business-wise, they don't need Okada. Business-wise, ticket sales, stuff like that, they don't need this to happen. It's already a fucking bomb-ass show anyways. You might as well just do this. Like, it's the cherry on top, you know? So that's how I look at it. And I'm actually very excited about that idea. If we can't get that because it's Brock Lesnar versus Gunther, which I'm not mad at, by the way.
Yeah.
Okada versus Styles could be really fun. And you could do this whole thing with the OC, you know, hijacking WrestleMania. Like, hey, I'm AJ Styles. Like, we're not on the show, whatever. And then you could
they are telling a story right now. And I think there's long-term going on with AJ Styles that we're going to see a little bit more of.
And well, here's the thing, right? He's going through that dark, evil route, and it does.
I watched a little bit of TNA. I know what's going on.
Yeah, it actually works if you think about it. It works in that regard too with AJ, where he's like, "How am I not on WrestleMania? I want a match. I don't care. Like, have him go through Gorilla. Like, literally, have him go through Gorilla and yell at Triple H. I'm wrestling. Like, Triple H could be backstage and be like, "What are you doing here? Like, you're not on the card."
Yeah, right. You're not on the show.
And like AJ comes out and
flips out. Yeah,
Okada. Bro. Oh my God, AJ Styles, the reaction. Which it would be nice to see AJ Styles in that regard, because AJ was the surprise in the Royal Rumble.
Right?
Like, Roman Reigns' reaction was so cool, and it says "I am," and then phenomenal.
Oh, no.
And people are like, oh, AJ, and people. I remember, this is why I don't give a fuck about Twitter. People are like, AJ Styles goes to WWE, nobody will know who he is. And then he comes out and the fucking place goes crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we know Okada going into WWE would get that reaction.
Absolutely.
A couple more super chats, and then definitely more to talk about on Raw, guys. Very good stuff, by the way, coming up. So you might not want to click off of this stream. Robin Plays Games drops a $5 super chat. He says, I was undefeated in WWE 2K23 for a long time. I am the kicking out king. It takes more than 3 finishers to beat me, Ango. To get to me, you have to beat Billy first.
Oh.
You want the shot at the king, you gotta go through Billy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Robin. I'm gonna be honest, because I don't lie. I think you're gonna have a very hard time getting through Billy.
I'm gonna be honest, Robin. Ain't a chance.
Ain't a chance.
Ain't a chance. Sorry,
thank you, Robin. Appreciate you, Robin. I will gladly beat your ass in 2K. Tattoo Nick dropping a 20 bomb. He says, okay, since you're talking about the women, what are they doing with Nikki Cross popping up in the background all of a sudden again? And keep up the good work. Tattoo Nick, I appreciate you bringing this up because this was actually a topic for me to discuss today. In the beginning of the stream, I said, there was, just something I love Nikki Cross. We see her for months and months and months and months. At this point, it's been over a year, I feel like. Yeah. Since Triple H first got into power or whatever, she's always learned
been teased. Yeah, she's been teased.
Okay. I love these little things. I love the teases, right? She's walking on the stage while I think it was Ivy Nile versus Valhalla was the match. And the camera just shows Nikki Cross roaming around the stage. No commentary acknowledgement, nothing like that. And as much as I love these little
tidbits,
these little Easter eggs, I'll call them.
Yeah.
I'm scratching my fucking head at this point. What are you doing with Nikki Cross?
Yeah, because Nikki Cross is just, obviously you had the whole superhero thing, and that was horrible. But you kind of look at her character, and she's always kind of been like the crazy, somewhat insane type.
Yeah.
Which I've always appreciated about WWE and what they're doing. I've always appreciated that, but it just feels too Sanity still. And for somebody who's watched for a long time, I understand what happened with Sanity.
Yeah.
Right. And they're no longer there. Eric Young is no longer with the company. You know what I mean? And he was what made Sanity really good, in my personal opinion. Yeah. I'm not going to sit up and say that's 100%, but it is. So I just feel like maybe they're missing something with Nikki Cross right now that isn't clicking, right? Or they're trying really, really hard to. Would I be wrong for saying that Triple H might be trying to push something down your throat?
No, because it's not the forefront.
Right.
It's not the forefront of the product. It's not taking up TV time from other people.
Right.
It's not. There's no dialogue. She's just lurking in the background.
Even talking about it, I'm confused because what is the purpose behind it? Where does it go?
That's my confusion.
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you exactly where this is going.
Yeah. That's. I don't know. And I'm starting to realize it's cool. Is there a plan? Is there not a plan? I
can imagine there is a plan, and we're probably just not realizing or seeing it, which is a good thing, right? At the end of the day, that's what we want. We want to feel surprised when something happens, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, like you said, this has been going on for what, a year now?
It feels like it's been even longer, I swear.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's do something with it. If we're going to do it, maybe we'll see it at the Royal Rumble.
And who knows? Honestly, somebody did mention Valhalla.
Yeah.
Has this dark cryptic thing. Maybe Nikki Cross gets involved with that, but I don't like that idea.
I like the idea that maybe you have her go up against somebody like Ivy Nile and you create a big feud maybe with Ivy Nile right away.
I'm going to position a little bit differently.
Okay.
We're seeing a women's faction on SmackDown. Nikki Cross has been lurking behind the scenes with all types of women. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is in plain sight and we don't realize it, but maybe she's just recruiting for her own faction. I don't know. Nah, I don't either. I really don't know. Very interesting. Tattoo Nick, thank you for the super chat. Robin Plays Games dropped another $2. He says he doesn't sell for anybody. Brother, we're not even going to talk about this anymore because you have to get through Billy to get to me. So, yeah.
I'm like the brick wall.
And brother, wait until you find out that I'm going to put hacks in Billy's PlayStation or whatever, and he's going to unlimited finishers on you.
What can I say? I'm sending it over to him tomorrow.
Oh, damn. Hey, 2K24 looks sick though.
It does. That game looks sick
on the channel for sure. So I am excited about that. Cody Rhodes, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, all cover stars this year, which is fantastic.
Beautiful stuff.
Thank you again, Tattoo Nick and Robin, for the super chats. I do want to get back to Raw, but Billy, there was some breaking news from bodyslam.net. Very interestingly enough, I feel like I saw this coming, but they have reported that WWE has made the decision to remove Kevin Patrick from SmackDown commentary.
Man, that was coming. That was coming for sure. I just don't know who put Byron Saxton back there.
I have no problem with that. I actually want to see Vic Joseph get called up.
Yeah, I like that idea. idea.
Vic Joseph is a hell of a commentator on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like I'm probably in the minority. I like Kevin Patrick on commentary for WWE. I also watch MLS soccer on Apple TV, and I listen to Kevin Patrick do commentary for MLS games. And I think he's a good commentator.
Yeah.
I think for him, he's like a play-by-play guy, and he's better off being like a color commentator.
Right.
But at the same time, too, obviously WWE doesn't believe in him as a commentator for SmackDown.
Vic Joseph does really well. I just think he meshes a little too well right now to take him away from Booker T.
So here's the thing. I don't care.
That's okay.
NXT, at the end of the day, NXT is developmental. They have other people that they have back there trying things out with commentary, especially with NXT Level Up.
Yep.
Personally speaking, I want Vic Joseph. I see some people in the chat talking about Mauro Ranallo and other people and stuff like that. Like, that's fine. I don't have an issue with Kevin Patrick. I actually like Kevin Patrick as a backstage interviewer and kickoff show panelist.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to bring you guys that breaking news. I'll talk more about it in depth.
Football's also almost over, so it's almost time for Mr. Pat McAfee to maybe make some kind of return.
Yep. Pat McAfee for sure.
Yep.
There's just a lot that they can do, and I get it. I totally get it, and we'll see how it all goes. Unfortunately, that's kind of it. Like he's there's nothing about him getting fired, but
they'll probably move him maybe to an NXT. You know what I mean? Just to get him that experience.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to see them move Booker T to SmackDown. I don't want to see them I don't want them to do anything crazy. I want them to go the safe option with somebody who would be great. Vic Joseph's the guy. I just want to bring that up. There's a little bit of a breaking news. You guys never know what you're going to find out on these live streams, which is why they're so fun. But I want to get back to talking to Raw.
Yes.
Talking about Raw, I should say.
Yeah.
Billy.
Bring it on.
Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Beautiful video package. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre having backstage interviews. Drew McIntyre gets the win.
Yep.
R-Truth had to fuck everything up.
I love it.
It's cooking. It's cooking.
It's cooking. Let them cook. Let them cook.
I have to ask you.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. We're often talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. This will tie into the Seth Rollins segment as well, because it kind of goes hand in hand. I see this main event. Drew McIntyre wins. R-Truth is the reason why Damian Priest loses. Okay, cool. Drew McIntyre finally wins a match. All this talk about Drew McIntyre hasn't re-signed with the company, could be leaving the company. I feel like we talked about this a long time ago, but my opinion still hasn't changed. I think WWE has re-signed him or will re-sign him.
Yeah.
And they're playing into this.
Yeah, they're playing into it 100%.
It feels like it.
It makes Drew look like a badder guy than he actually is, right? Because it makes sense. It makes total, complete sense that they would play into it right now.
Do you remember, was it last week? I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I said to you, everything that Triple H is doing, there's a long-term plan.
Yes, that was last week.
After watching today's episode, right, we see Cody, Punk, rumors of Roman and Rock Night 2 WrestleMania. Do you think WWE has changed their course with Drew McIntyre, or do you think this is all part of the plan?
This is all part of the plan. Looking at it for what it is, it's 100% a part of the plan.
So what's the final destination?
Well, I think you kind of hit the head with it. I think, especially because we didn't talk about Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
But Seth Rollins, he did end up tearing his MCL.
Yeah.
And then the meniscus and stuff like that. He had that happen. And I thought for sure, I was like, especially when Gunther came out.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no chance he's dropping this belt. So that, in my eyes, kind of juggled the plans in my head for a moment. But I think you're right. I think the course stays the same almost. I know you talked about Cody and Punk at WrestleMania. I still believe they do Punk and Rollins. I know this was huge, but we live in such a momentary world that we forget how big Seth Rollins and CM Punk was a couple weeks ago.
You're 100% right, brother, but that didn't have the same aura as this. which is crazy because it just shows you how
True, but understand that TV looks a little bit different now.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit different because at the time Kevin Dunn was there. Maybe the cuts weren't all the way there. I know this is just, but it is little small minuscule things like this that make something in the aura feel correct, right? So we live in such a momentary world where it's like, oh, right now Cody and Punk should be the thing. No. It needs to stay the course. And the course is Rollins and Punk. Because that's a story that was being told right then and there. No, right now, Cody and Punk is a story being told for the Royal Rumble. Because they understand that it's two people of this high magnitude. So they have to cross paths. They have to go by each other real fast. Because they're going to see each other in there.
Yeah.
So make it feel important.
So go back to Drew McIntyre, though.
Listen. You're right. I want to say it was 2 weeks ago. You had brought up that Punk wins the belt. He gets his moment. But you best believe that next night, and as a CM Punk fan, it hurts me to say.
Yeah.
But that next night on Raw, Drew, who has just been going through these things, and like tonight, he'll pick up a win, right? But that win, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And you still took the one thing from me, right? Drew beats the shit out of CM Punk. And I don't mean just like a little light beating. I'm talking about rip the mat up, make it hurt.
Yeah. For those tuning in, we talked about this last week, but I want Billy to continue because I'm going to add something to this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Beat him to where it hurts, the pain, feel it all.
Yeah.
Damian Priest.
Cashes in. Yeah.
And Drew gets his big match with CM Punk, and then he can go on and he can feud with Damian or whatever the case may be, and let him eventually win that World Heavyweight Championship.
So this is why I'm super confused right now.
Okay.
Seth Rollins will be competing at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's what it sounds like. And I still agree that Damian Priest needs to cash in on Raw after WrestleMania.
Okay.
But here's where I'm conflicted. Drew. Are they doing this with Drew because he's actually going to leave the company? Are they doing this? Well, here's why I ask. Finn Balor. There's a whole bunch of tension in Judgment Day today.
Oh, yeah. It was the most we've seen.
We need you to be more vicious, Finn. We want the vicious Finn Balor. Why are you laughing? This ain't funny. Rhea Ripley asserting her dominance. Damian Priest doesn't like it. Finn Balor is vicious. Yep. And it's like you talked about Damian Priest and Finn Balor having a feud. And there's a lot of ways that they can go about this. And it's like, well, fuck, not everybody could be a world champion. How do you go about this? And I'm very curious if the end result for this Drew McIntyre storyline is what I initially predicted, where Drew eventually gets the belt and walks out of the company. And what I would do, if you can do this, which I hate this idea, sort of. I kind of like it. I think WWE could pull it off, but you have them leave the company.
Go defend it somewhere?
No. He doesn't defend it anywhere. I mean, you never know with Triple H and working relationships. It could always happen, but you can technically have Drew McIntyre leave for like a month or two, take a break, right?
Yeah.
And you could play into the storyline with his contract and all.
But let me ask you a question: doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of this World Heavyweight Championship belt?
Unless you replace it with the real World Heavyweight Championship belt.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying. I'm curious if that's the route that we get to. I don't know. I swear to God, this is the first time I genuinely feel like I don't know what the plan is with Drew McIntyre. That's why I think I'm so intrigued, because every week there's so much continuity with it where it just constantly evolves. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is the point? Yeah. Like, clearly they have a plan here.
Because like tonight, he picks up a win after struggling for so long.
Yes.
Why did this win matter?
So this win matters because Drew said what he was going to do.
Right.
And I loved one thing too that was kind of under the radar too was Drew McIntyre was talking about in the backstage interview. They're like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on Cody and CM Punk's thing?" And he's like, He doesn't give a shit because he's like, I won a Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania. So
these guys are doing something and looking for something that I've already done.
Yeah. So I really like that. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck the plan is, but I will tell you, just kind of want to reiterate this a million times. And this is why I'm super curious to see how this goes. When you look at the World Heavyweight Championship picture, these are the several people where it's like, you can argue any one of them could be world champion.
Absolutely.
Gunther, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, CM Punk, and even though I
still,
think
now
Rhodes,
that you mentioned Sami Zayn, I still believe that there's something. He was written off TV by Drew McIntyre.
so
there's a story there.
So that's what I think that's kind of where it gets back to. So it's like part of me kind of wishes that Damian Priest wasn't holding the Money in the Bank. Because technically speaking, if Drew McIntyre was holding Money in the Bank, you can always have Drew McIntyre cash in on Punk after Raw, after Mania, right? You took this from me. Now I get back what I wanted, what I deserved. Yeah. And then not Seth Rollins, Damian Priest can feud with Finn Balor without the World Heavyweight Championship, the fall of the Judgment Day. Right. And then you could have Drew McIntyre eventually drop the belt to Sami Zayn, which I think Sami Zayn is due for a singles world championship.
Kevin Owens got one. Sami Zayn deserves one.
Yeah. And I think, too, one of the biggest things here that a lot of people really aren't talking about is the fact that Finn Balor, Jey Uso, Gunther, Seth, CM Punk, Sami Zayn, all these guys, right? CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, like any one of these guys could be the world heavyweight champion. There is a plethora of guys ready based on TV. I'm not talking about, these are my fan favorites. Based on the way they've been producing these television shows of Raw, these are the guys that stick out to me as like, hey, they're preparing them for a world heavyweight championship. It's a fantastic problem to have, but as a fan, I literally cannot wait to see what happens, because with Drew McIntyre, I genuinely don't know, especially because Seth Rollins' announcement today. Right. And I think that's what really shocked me. For those who missed it, Seth Rollins was getting ready to make his announcement. He's hurt, this and that. Doctors won't clear him. Gunther and Imperium come out and confront him. They don't get physical. Gunther lets him know that he wants what he has, and he's going to go win the Royal Rumble. And then what happens here? Seth Rollins says, well, you weren't paying attention. You didn't let me finish. You cut me off. But I was going to announce that I will be at WrestleMania.
I don't give a damn what the doctors say.
So, but here's the thing. It would have been a lot easier if Seth Rollins dropped the belt, vacated it, cashed in something. And I'm not saying they should have done a cash in, because that's very difficult considering he can't physically be.
Right, and he is actually hurt.
But this injury plays a very major twist to everything that's happening.
Like I said, I think we are in a time, and we're dealing with somebody like Triple H, right? Who understands that you don't have to change the course.
He's not. It's very clear that they're not.
No, they have a plan, and he's going with it.
But that's why I'm like, okay, this is not an easy to figure out plan, because clearly so much shit is happening where I'm like, okay.
Right, but obviously they've got it figured out on the back end.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. This is so unpredictable, bro. I swear, if you told me, I said this last year. I said, Cody Rhodes wins the Rumble 2 years in a row.
Absolutely.
Okay. I feel like that could still very well happen. Cody wins the Rumble, challenges Roman.
But you're not 100% sure.
100% it could happen. Very possible. Then you throw in the Gunther possibility. You throw in Drew McIntyre's possibility. You throw in CM Punk's possibility. Not to mention, technically speaking, AJ Styles and LA Knight and Randy Orton are also possibilities.
And they're going to close out the show, though.
So here, that's what I was going to say, right? If one of those three guys are in the opening match and then they're in the Royal Rumble, they can technically win the Royal Rumble. If the Fatal 4-Way is main event, obviously not.
I think if they're staying the course for Rock and Roman, that match closes out the show.
Yeah, because then you have the Rock show face-to-face with Roman.
Right, exactly.
But that's I mean, there's just so many things that can happen. My point is that this is a very unpredictable Royal Rumble.
There's only 4 matches. So
I want to bring this up now. Let me get your opinion on this, Billy.
Okay.
Let me get everybody's opinion on this. Yeah. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Roman, and this is why I fucking hate the Roman versus Rock bullshit.
I wish they would stop with it, but yeah, come on.
It's got to happen at Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Let me explain why.
Yeah.
Seth can't wrestle at Elimination Chamber.
No, he can't now.
Gunther cannot wrestle at Elimination Chamber. He can't do international shows. That's why he hasn't been on those pay-per-views.
Really?
It's like some sort of visa issue or something
because
like
he's
that.
in America. He lives in America.
Pay-per-views in Australia.
Right.
There's issues. I don't know what it is, but that was the thing that's kept him off of the Saudi Arabia shows.
So what do? You book. Sorry to cut you off real fast.
Roman
You do 4
versus
matches
Rock.
again. You do 4 matches again.
At
Rock
Elimination
and Reed.
Chamber?
Yeah, you do about 4 matches. You do 2 chamber matches, 1 big match, and then maybe a woman's match.
My brother, no. 5 to 6 matches is perfect.
Okay.
4 is not enough. But here's the thing: you do the 2 chamber matches. You're not going to have your World Heavyweight Championship or your
Intercontinental
or your Universal.
The Universal's going to be there,
Brother, I need The Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber.
You're going to Perth, Australia, in front of 70,000 people at Elimination Chamber 1 month or a month and a couple days before WrestleMania, dude.
Listen, Triple H, I'm not bullshitting right now.
Yeah.
I'm just, if you're listening, if you somehow find your way into this clip, let me make this easy for you. Rock and Roman doesn't need to be at WrestleMania. It just needs to be in a stadium show with a wild crowd. And Australia deserves that. Those people in Australia deserve to have a massive marquee match. And on top of that, Triple H, if you're fucking listening to this, just kind of throwing this out there. Just throwing this out there. You have to think long and hard about what you're going to do when Roman drops the belt. And another thing, while I have your attention, Triple H, I saw Hulk Hogan tease something about being in the fucking Royal Rumble this week. Yeah, let's not do that. Okay? Simple as that. Rock, Roman, Elimination Chamber, Cody, WrestleMania, finishes the story. CM Punk wins the belt at WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre beats the living shit out of CM Punk at Raw after WrestleMania. Those 3 things. Money. Oh, and then if you want to make me extra happy, you bring in Okada and have him. You have Gunther hijack the show, and then you have Okada. Cha-ching, money.
And falling down. But I will tell you, it's been an ongoing thing on my channel. I'm gonna blast my channel here a little bit. It's been an ongoing thing on my channel because I talk about this, the whole Rock, Roman, Cody situation. I talk about it a lot. People really believe that Roman and Rock should be at WrestleMania, and that is the wildest thing to me. Number one, if you live in the United States, North America, you're selfish. And I'm here to tell you, you're selfish, right? Yeah. I see a lot of people complaining, oh, we got to get up at 5 a.m. to watch the pay-per-view. Yeah, imagine what these people have to do.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a whole other part of the world that is going through the situation that we're going through. People genuinely believe that, oh, they don't deserve it. No, it can't happen there. It needs to be at WrestleMania. Why? Because it's in Philadelphia? Why? Because it's in North America? Get your head out of your ass.
No.
It 100%, 1,000% should happen at 5 a.m. at the Elimination Chamber. And guess who's going to tune in at 5 a.m.?
All of us.
All of us. Every single one of us.
It's on a freaking weekend, bro. It's not on a weekday where you got to work and stuff like that.
It's going to be on a Saturday.
And listen, here's the thing. For me personally, I look forward to Elimination Chamber being in the morning. Yeah, I got to wake up a little early. I'm going to make myself a very nice breakfast.
Absolutely.
I'm going to make myself a nice breakfast. High protein, low carbs.
Yep.
And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to enjoy the Elimination Chamber. And I'm going to take my notes because I'll be live post show. And then in addition to that, Billy, you know what I'm going to do?
What you gonna do?
I'm going to go live immediately after. And then the best part is I'm going to have the rest of the day to do whatever the hell I want.
Absolutely. If you want to go take a nap after, guess what you can do?
It's not that big of a deal, bro.
In fact,
I know this sounds crazy, but even when WWE does the Crown Jewel Saudi Arabia shows, I tend to really enjoy 2 p.m.
2 o'clock.
Eastern.
Yeah.
I don't listen on a Saturday, Friday night. I got stuff to do, bro. I ain't trying to I like wrestling. I like pay-per-views, and it's not, oh my God, it's not an every weekend thing, but pay-per-view is starting at 5 a.m. You give me The Rock Roman. Actually, I think that's even better because
it'll be at like 8 a.m. when they go on.
So, but here's the thing that I love, right? Well, it would be like 8 p.m. for them, I think. But let me throw this out there. And for those in America, listen to this very closely because this is not something that is being discussed enough. If a pay-per-view goes off the air 11:30 p.m. Eastern, the headlines kick in Sunday morning, afternoon. That's when everybody's going to see the headlines. If it happens at 5 a.m. Eastern time, people are going to wake up and see it blasted on ESPN and everywhere right away. Holy shit, The Rock, and Roman. Oh my God, it was crazy. Blah, 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 blah. People will go crazy.
Listen,
the headlines, it makes more sense from a time standard. Like you have an entire day now to capitalize off the social media.
And everybody on my channel, and I hate to bring this back up, but everybody on my channel was like, yeah, no, it's just not going to make them enough money. You are crazy.
Oh, they don't need Rock, brother. They already sold the tickets. They sold the tickets before the Rock even showed up. WrestleMania's been selling in advance for a year now at this point. Like they don't need. I'm sorry, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Raj Giri because Raj Giri, I think people give him shit on Twitter without actually looking at context and stuff. Yeah. But he's been very keen on saying, hey, this is the biggest match of ever. Like you do this at WrestleMania. And I'm proud, and I understand where he's coming from, but I say this respectfully. WWE has shown us that before The Rock, they already have something bigger in the works. They already have so much big stuff happening at this WrestleMania without The Rock. You don't need The Rock. It's an added bonus. And that's why, for me, I'm so keen and so firm on saying it could happen at Elimination Chamber. And I understand both point of views. And I understand your audience, Billy. I really do. But at the same time, too, this is The Rock, who is not a full-time wrestler. This is The Rock, who I'm a very big fan of. I'm not one of these guys on the internet that thinks he sucks or whatever.
Dude owns the UFL now.
I think The Rock is massive, and this is a great, massive matchup. But WWE has been cooking for over a year, building towards WrestleMania. You got Rhea and Becky in the works. You have so much big stuff happening on this card. This is literally a card where I've said this every week. There are multiple matches that can headline WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. The Rock coming back is definitely not needed at WrestleMania. And I just want to throw this out there because I think this part is so incredibly important. Optics are everything.
Absolutely.
Perception is everything.
Yep.
In the past year, Triple H has managed to make B pay-per-views feel way bigger than ever before. It's okay for Elimination Chamber to have The Rock versus Roman. If anything, it tells you, hey, you should probably watch our other pay-per-views if you only watch WrestleMania. I'm telling you guys right now, this is not some overcomplicated bullshit. I promise. 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 I promise.
People need to realize that it is okay for it to happen here. And I think we all just need to accept that it would be okay under the circumstance that they do it in Perth, Australia. At the end of the day, it's okay, right? You're not harming anything and you're continuing on with what you set out to do without interfering it, right?
Yeah.
You're not interfering with Cody. You're not interfering with Punk. You're not interfering with Rollins, and you're not interfering with Roman. You were a firm believer in Roman was going to go to Hollywood after. Do you still stand with that?
Great question. I think there's still more that Roman can do, especially with Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Which we've addressed this before. But let me add an idea. There has been this chit chat about what if WWE does a triple threat with Rock, Cody, and Roman.
I've seen that.
I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of Cody beating The Rock at WrestleMania, pinning The Rock.
And Roman.
Not pinning Roman Reigns.
But beating Roman, too, technically.
Technically, he wins the belt at WrestleMania. You make it a triple threat. If I wouldn't be opposed to this. It's not the first thing I would lead with, because obviously I think the singles match is bigger. But if you want to protect Roman, which I don't think you have to protect Roman. I don't think you should protect Roman. But let's say you want to protect Roman after this historic reign. You can have Cody pin The Rock. Roman and the Wise Men are on SmackDown and saying, Cody never beat me.
Right.
And then what you could do is Cody pins Roman at the next pay-per-view clean.
Right.
And then you can have Roman take a break, rethink the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, set up that storyline.
How do we get Solo up and running, pretty much?
That's going to be a challenge for WWE.
It is, but they're starting to hint at it.
Oh, they've been hinting at it since Bloodline had Sami Zayn.
Which is why. But I mean, they're really starting to hint at it now. Seeing Solo with a microphone is crazy. Like
there's a lot more they need to do with Solo. I love Solo.
There is a lot more they need to do with him. I totally agree, but I love what they're doing with just little tidbits and, like you said, little Easter eggs of things that are going on. Him standing in front of him, pretty much stepping to him.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it a lot. I think it makes for great storytelling. And it's why I'm excited for Friday Night SmackDown.
I am too. I did want to point this out too.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and Roman doesn't need the belt on the line.
No.
Cody versus Roman is all about the belt and finishing the story. Rock and Roman doesn't need the belt. You can always, if you really, really want, and I'm not saying you do this 1 year in the making, because that's not a good idea. Especially because with The Rock, you never know if he's going to commit. But you could literally just do Roman versus Cody at WrestleMania Night 2. You can have Cody beat Roman Reigns. You can have a scenario where that starts the actual downfall of the Bloodline. Roman turns his back on everybody, including Paul Heyman. And then Roman Reigns defending the Usos' honor and Solo Sikoa, which subsequently would make them all babyface.
Right.
But then that's how you could actually set up Rock versus Roman for SummerSlam without the title. Technically speaking, there's a lot of ways to go about this. That's my point that I'm trying to make is there's a lot of ways to get to Rock versus Roman without fucking with Cody. But unfortunately, the IWC is 100% convinced like this has to happen at WrestleMania. I just simply don't agree with that. Yeah, and I don't agree that it needs the belt on the line. And really, if you want, make Roman work both nights. The only downfall to that is Rock and Roman. Let's say it was night 1, it would have to headline.
Mm-hmm.
He would have to headline both nights.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, bro. I love CM Punk and I love Seth Rollins and I love the World Heavyweight Championship. But if that's what it takes for me to get Cody beating Roman at WrestleMania for that moment, then that's what they got to do.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days. Yes, I just counted live on your stream. In 5 days' time, we're gonna find out where they're going.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna get the idea.
Yeah,
very fast.
Yeah, very quickly. We're gonna know, right? Because if Logan Paul and Kevin Owens kick off that show, right, which I think they might do, maybe, or they'll probably kick it off with the Women's Royal Rumble, one of the two, right?
Yeah. Usually it's a Rumble match that kicks it off.
Yeah, so it'll probably be the Women's Rumble that kicks it off, kind of right off.
Yeah.
And then imagine putting Kevin Owens and Logan Paul right after that. And then you do the Men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you have the Fatal 4-Way. Well, no, now you're telling me that this Fatal 4-Way is huge.
Yeah.
And in that Fatal 4-Way, The Rock comes out.
Yeah.
Under the circumstance that he does come out, my instant belief is going to be it's happening in Australia.
Or you have The Rock show up at Elimination Chamber face to face with Roman Reigns.
And that's another thought process that I have that just scares me a lot, and I don't want to think about that one.
We'll see.
We will. Saturday's going to tell a lot.
Yeah.
Saturday is going to tell a lot. And I seen somebody commented, we should probably do a prediction show.
Oh, we will. We will.
Yeah.
More than likely, prediction show will happen hopefully Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I got to take a look at schedules and stuff. But
yeah,
for sure. And look, guys, let me just tell you, I'm not that hard to satisfy in wrestling. Tell me the story, continue the story, and give me a payoff. That's why I'm so keen on Cody finishing the story. That's the story they've been telling for over a year. If there's a detour in the plans, do something that won't piss me off.
Which I don't think Triple H will.
I don't. I have a lot of confidence in Triple H. But at the same time, too, At the same time, too, I'm not stupid. I
And
understand.
you have to
I
be
understand,
understanding that something can mess up.
but that's where I think Triple H also doesn't have to fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've listed alternatives to get us where we need to be. At the same time, too, I think those are great alternatives. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna boost my head a little bit. I'm gonna give myself a big head and say I think all my alternatives could fucking work.
Yeah, I'd say.
So the thing is, I hope Triple H is thinking the same way. Whether he's thinking the way I'm thinking, I'm not worried about that. But I hope
just
he's
somewhere
thinking
along these lines
of like, hey, we can get to what people want, which is Cody. And at the end of the day, it's tough because there's other things you can mention, like, hey, what if Cody turns heel? He gets stepped over and turns heel, right? And it's Cody often gets compared to Homelander from The Boys. And
but
it's like,
then you lose out on the idea of like what you're trying to build.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be as complicated.
There is a quick question that I wanted to ask you, and it's something that's been weighing on my mind a little bit heavy throughout the stream.
Yeah.
When you see Cody Rhodes go up, right?
Mhm.
And you see he gets the standard edition for the cover of the game, which is
Mhm.
truth be told, is going to be the one that everybody buys.
Yeah.
It's fair to say that. Do you know what the whole shtick of this game is?
Finish the story. Finish your story. I know, dude. I put out a tweet. I'm like, it feels like it's leading up to WrestleMania 40. And they're gonna put a WrestleMania 40 DLC later in the summer. I think it has to be Cody. Cody has to finish the fucking story. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care. It just has to be Cody. Finishing the fucking story. Just make it happen.
If I'm seeing The Undertaker talking about finishing his story.
Yeah.
Dude, hand Cody Rhodes the belt at WrestleMania. I don't care. I do not want to see anybody else have that belt at the end of WrestleMania. I'm sorry. That's just me personally. I do not care about Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. I do not. I'm here to say it.
No, I just, it goes back to what I was saying too a little bit about the which I personally, I just like, okay, if The Rock really has to be night 2, then you can have Cody, Money in the Bank. You could do that, right? And he says, hey, Roman, I'm not a coward. I'm a man. I'm challenge you ahead of time, whatever. Like, that could be a big match. Cody and Roman doesn't necessarily have to happen at WrestleMania, right? It doesn't really have to happen at WrestleMania, but it should happen at WrestleMania, right? But there's other ways around it.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, there's other ways around it. But me personally, I'm thinking, why do we have to do all this extra shit? It's right there in front of you. Just fucking do it.
That's my whole thing. It's right there in front of you. Don't mess it up. It's there.
100%. I did want to read a super chat, and believe it or not, I'm going to tie this in a little bit.
Okay.
Tattoo Nix dropped to $4.99. He says Priest is going to be the next Baron Corbin with a failed cash-in.
Under what grounds?
I've hindered with this idea back and forth of like, hey, there is
a way to have him win,
and there's also a way to have him lose that both make sense. Right. And obviously the Monday Night Raw where Drew McIntyre beats the hell out of CM Punk, right? We've already gone through that option,
right?
But I wouldn't be opposed with all this drama surrounding the Judgment Day and Damian Priest kind of taking things into his own matters and Rhea Ripley not going face to face. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of a random episode of SmackDown, and it has to happen on SmackDown, where Roman Reigns is there. Roman Reigns gets beat up by Randy Orton, AJ Styles, or LA Knight. Somebody looks weak, and Damian Priest's music randomly hits, and he goes to cash in on Roman Reigns.
That's the one guy he has not tried to cash in on.
He hasn't. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea of Damian Priest trying to go to SmackDown to cash in on Roman Reigns. And then in addition to that, he fails the cash in, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there with the Judgment Day. He wasn't there with Rhea Ripley. You go and tune into Raw, and the Judgment Day ignore the fuck out of him. They don't want to talk to him. They don't care about him. They don't care what he has to say. They are pissed at him to go. Because here's the thing. If you have Damian Priest, and especially in this particular situation, go off to SmackDown to do this randomly without the group's opinion, it immediately turns him into a baby face when the Judgment Day kick him out.
Right. Absolutely.
And, maybe that's the route that they go. Maybe the route is, hey, Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest cashing in successfully truly throws a wrench in some of the things I'd rather see with
Yeah.
CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, or
Right.
then Sami Zayn taking the belt
Which
off.
is what I stand by. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to throw that out there. I think it would be a good way to break him off of the Judgment Day. I wouldn't be opposed to Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day. I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities here that could work. And I like that idea of him failing the cash in a lot more than him cashing in successfully because Drew McIntyre. Because here's the thing. If Drew McIntyre beats the hell out of CM Punk, the Raw after WrestleMania, and CM Punk has the belt, you took my moment away from me. You took this from me.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre beats the hell out of him. Logically speaking, why would he want Damian Priest to cash in? Right. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. They can always film it where Drew McIntyre walks out, CM Punk is still on the ground. The ring is all torn up and shit. And then Damian Priest goes to cash in. But if I was Damian Priest and I'm pissed at Punk winning at WrestleMania, he shouldn't logically be happy about this possibility of Drew. Or
yeah.
Damian
Now
Priest
my only problem is that they played into Cody and it kind of stealing the moment. Like Drew played it like he's already had the big moment.
Yes, but it's not so much about the moment. It's what Drew wants, which is the belt. And
right.
CM Punk winning the Rumble, getting there kind of plays into that. But I'm just saying, I much rather like the idea of Damian Priest randomly going on an episode of SmackDown, tries to cash in without the consent of his group. He didn't talk it over. He fails. They kick him out. And that's how we get Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in a singles match at WrestleMania. Personally speaking, that's the way I would do it. Damian Priest is a hell of a baby face waiting to come out and become the guy. They got to do something. And that's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I like it.
A lot of options, but get the money in the bank off of Damian Priest. Let Seth and Punk go at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre screws over CM Punk. This way CM Punk could hold the belt post WrestleMania. Drew is the one that takes the belt off of CM Punk. Drew can either drop the belt to Gunther or Drew can drop the belt to Sami Zayn. Both of them could make a lot of sense in its own ways.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Tattoo Nick, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, brother. We did get another one from Justin Kennington, which plays into the Royal Rumble. He says, hey, will they add matches to the Rumble? Right now, there's only 4 matches to the Rumble.
No.
You don't think so? You don't think they do one more?
No.
I disagree with you.
I mean, maybe one more, but even then, I think it's you're doing it a day before. I don't think so.
Do we know the Kabuki Warriors tag team match? Do we know if that's happening on SmackDown?
It's on SmackDown. Yep.
See, that should have been a good match for pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, it's on SmackDown.
It's on SmackDown.
Yep. For the women's tag team championships.
Okay. If they're only doing 4 matches to the Royal Rumble, then I want
there's going to be a lot of surprises. I do want to mention that.
There's not a lot of surprise. Maybe, never know. But 2 things that we need to discuss. One, this year, Triple H hasn't revealed everybody who's going to be in the Rumble yet.
There's like 5 people on the graphic.
Yeah, they haven't announced everybody. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I do. The second thing, I'm hoping Triple H goes back to the old format where instead of every 90 seconds, it's every 2 minutes somebody enters.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But at the same time too, 4 matches on this card, it's a little light. Obviously, it's the Royal Rumble. It's always a lighter card. They should sneak one more match in there.
I mean, I just don't know because if they would have, I felt like they would have done it tonight. I don't think you can't do AOP and the Street Profits right now there. I'm trying to think. You can maybe do like a Grayson Waller segment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even then, Grayson Waller is going to be in the Royal Rumble. So it's like, I mean, truth be told, I just think they're sticking with 4.
So what's interesting, WWE Raw next week announced DIY versus Damian Priest and Finn Balor for the tag titles. Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. And then Kofi Kingston versus Gunther.
It's going to be 5.
Which 2 of the 3 could be pay-per-view matches. Bronson
DIY versus DIY and
Judgment Day.
Thank you. At that's 100% a Royal Rumble match. But I also see why trying to get TV over, right?
So that's what Triple H has done very differently in the last year. It's, hey, not every match needs to be on a pay-per-view. We're going to put them on TV, which is cool. Right. I'm fine with that. But that's kind of where I'm like, if you want to sneak one more match in there, what I would like to see, though, which I think this would be a good idea, and we would have to wait until SmackDown. Nick Aldis, remember how we were talking about this before? I was like, Nick Aldis should be pissed that the tag titles aren't defended on SmackDown.
Here we go.
I think Nick Aldis goes behind everyone's back and on SmackDown announces a tag team. It could be Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne versus Judgment Day. It could be anybody, but he should announce a tag team from SmackDown at Royal Rumble versus Judgment Day.
That would be, beforehand.
And then on Raw, they got to split up those belts. Do it this week. Literally do it this week.
Let's get it done.
Like at Royal Rumble, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce should cross paths and like, what the hell is this? Tag team champions barely coming on my show, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And just start the process, get those tag titles split. Because that's another thing that's causing an issue is not having those titles split.
Right.
But I definitely want to bring that up. Justin, thank you for the super chat. We got one from Zachary for $5. He says, or Drew can attack Punk. Damien cashes in on Drew, gets a match for helping him, like when he lost his belt to The Miz. And Lashley, hold on. There's a spelling error. Let me see what you're saying. Lashley won soon after. Logical. So Drew can attack Punk. Damien cashes in on Drew. Wait, Damien cashes in and Drew gets a match for helping him. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember during COVID, The Miz and Lashley. Yes. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You could go that route.
Yeah. It's not a bad route to go.
I think Drew, the unfortunate part with that is I don't think Damian Priest will be a transitional champion.
I don't think Damian Priest will either. And I think if you want to, if you're going to have him win, you give him the utmost respect as the winner, as the workhorse champion, and let him defend it a little bit. Yeah. Give him a 6-month, 7-month reign.
Yeah.
I like that.
Interesting.
Very.
Thank you, Zach, for the super chat. We got a $5 super chat from Sean G. He says 2 questions. If Okada and Mercedes money go to AEW, is that enough, or do they need to land someone like Camille also? You're way too early prediction for Money in the Bank winners. Okay. So question number 1, we'll go one by one, and then we'll answer the second question. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the first one, Billy, if Okada and Money, Sasha go to AEW, is that enough, or do they need to land someone like Camille?
If Okada and Mercedes are not enough, there's a problem.
I'll tell you right now, I'm just going to get this answer out of the way. It doesn't matter who this company signs.
It never has.
People hate this. When I say this, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter who you sign.
No.
Because if you're looking at business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okada and Mercedes, there's a reason why when I talk about Okada going to WWE, what do I say? WWE doesn't need them.
No.
They got the business. They're selling. They got the money, things like that. AEW's in a situation where I think they've kind of hit their ceiling.
And they need to figure out the business side of it right now.
Yeah. New signings have shown us historically that business doesn't really change unless it's CM Punk.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the only one that really changed the landscape of AEW.
100%. What I will say is this to answer this question. I think it doesn't matter who AEW signs. Changes need to happen
within.
I think they've hit their ceiling. I don't think they'll ever be on WWE's level. I don't think they'll ever get close.
They're bringing the rankings back, which is a good sign.
Cool. It will still never take them to WWE's level.
No.
And I like that change. I think it's a great change. It's making me more of a fan.
Yeah.
But I think people just have to understand that they're not going to really be doing.
They need to step away and stop trying to be. Always live within competition. You know what I mean? And always have that breed of competition. I think that I think it does honestly help for good television.
For good television, yes. But here's the thing. Adam Copeland came into the company, Edge.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not change anything for AEW's business. So at the end of the day, what's this expectation of people just coming in? There's a lot of changes this company needs to make. There's a lot of changes. And by the way, if WWE was in the same position, I'd be saying this. Oh, wait, I could actually use a good example. 2016, 2017, 2018, WWE not selling out like they were today, not getting the viewership and stuff that they were today, not selling merch like they were today.
I went
What
to
did WWE do?
SmackDown in 2017, and I just
Yeah.
remember it was very closed off.
Yeah, it wasn't good, man.
Mhm.
And I felt at the time the product was okay, but it just wasn't hot. And the thing is, I remember at that time saying WWE should just focus on putting out the best possible product.
Yeah.
Why? Because at that time, you know what I was watching, guys? TNA. And I always felt like, hey, man, if TNA could just kind of just focus on good TV, they could challenge them. And obviously that wasn't going to happen because TNA was ran by idiots back then. But that's how I looked at it, was just focus on your product. Just focus on your product, create good TV. It's a little bit different in 2023, 2024. WWE has improved immensely. So
Yeah.
WWE, that's why I say just focus on your product, WWE. You don't need to mention AEW. You don't need to focus on AEW. You don't need to counter
Because
program.
you're already moving.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. AEW has to learn with the fact that it's okay being number 2.
Yep. And just live with
reality.
Yeah,
And
just live with it.
And Tony Khan should always push to be number 1, but be okay with being number 2. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
As long as you're not losing money.
Silver is a beautiful thing.
So I will say this too. It's not about the signings, which, by the way, I think Mercedes immediately elevates AEW's product. Immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Okada does as well. But the problem is this company has shown us historically that all these signings coming in, they don't move the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. They don't need to. But what I would do is, at this point, the roster is bloated. If you're going to sign people who don't want to be there, let them go.
Yep, I agree.
You know, it's a little bit different because in WWE, you're not hearing stories of people wanting to leave. In AEW, you are. But if people in WWE want to leave, WWE, your roster is bloated, let them go.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And then bring in Okada, then bring in Mercedes, then bring in Camille. I will say, AEW in the last month, like their women's division feels way better than it ever has.
Yeah, recently it's been amazing.
So do they need to sign someone like Camille? No, but should they? Of course, you should.
Absolutely.
You should, because you're beefing up your women's division.
Right.
But Camille, let's not sit here and pretend Camille is going to go into AEW and bring them $10 trillion of business. That's just not going to happen.
Nope.
But should they bring her in because their women's division will be very good at that point and there's going to be a lot of attention on it and she's another key signing? Yeah, I think Camille goes to NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to be pretty clear on that. Second question. Your way too early prediction for Money in the Bank winners.
Women and men?
Women and men.
I'll answer both.
Hold on. Let's do this because we were fantasy booking stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff we fantasy book on this channel and on these live streams. So let's answer this without the idea of us in our fantasy booking scenarios. Let's just do this based on the television shows we've been watching. All right.
I think Bronson Reed.
Okay.
For the men's side.
Okay.
Women's side. Do they have a SmackDown and I presume they would have a SmackDown and a Raw one, right? Or no, just the one.
Women's versus men's.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me Dakota Kai.
Interesting.
Give me Dakota Kai.
I only like that answer because my prediction is that Bayley's going to win the championship at WrestleMania.
Yes.
But again, we're not fantasy booking. I'm not fantasy booking with my answer. So therefore, just based on the television that I'm watching, I'm going to throw out two predictions. One, Sami Zayn wins the men's Money in the Bank. Okay. Based on the television we've seen, I think Sami Zayn wins Money in the Bank. He's also somebody that could benefit from it. And for the women's, I'm going to be very honest, Jade Cargill.
You and Jade Cargill.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know where she fits yet.
We see at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we'll find out. We're about to find out for sure.
But I'm curious, though. Does she even debut in the Royal Rumble if she doesn't win the Rumble?
That's my idea. That's my thought process. You built her as such a star. Whatever she's doing, it needs to be huge.
Or
they build her like Cody.
Do you have her go to the Royal Rumble to get eliminated? by damage control.
Just to prove a point.
Like she gets cheated.
Yeah,
She's in the final 2 and she gets cheated.
Yeah, you can do that because that instantly makes her important. She now becomes a part of the TV show.
Either way, I don't care about the Royal Rumble because my prediction is Jade Cargill wins Money in the Bank. Miss Money in the Bank, cashes in same night.
Standing by Dakota Kai.
I like the Dakota Kai prediction. I like this prediction. This is a great question, Sean. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Good. Robin dropping 10 bomb. He says, so this is what we're going to do, huh, Ango? You putting Billy on the spot doing dirty work for you. It's going to suck, but I accept. Now I'm going to watch this episode of Raw as I also watch this stream. Robin plays games. Billy's not doing the dirty work, bro. You're just not worthy of a singles match in 2K24. You got to earn it.
I feel like the Batista in this spot.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Batista here. I'm just getting I'm being thrown into the wolves, and I'm ready to take on the pack.
I love it. 2K24 is gonna be fun. We'll definitely have to stream it on this channel. Robin, thank you for the $10 super chat. We got a $2 super chat from Richard Martinez. He says our Gable's loss is intentional. Title versus career.
Wow.
I think it's interesting because he did lose to Ivar today. Obviously, it was logical because Valhalla got involved and screwed him.
Yeah, but last week, Akira Tozawa beat him.
So he should be the leader of Alpha Academy.
Right, exactly. A little storytelling. Have you seen the stuff that they've been doing online with Otis, Akira Tozawa, Chad Gable? Yeah, okay. I just had to make sure. I had to make sure I wasn't the only one who witnessed that.
Listen, I like it. It's fun. What I would say is this. We're fantasy booking like the Okada Gunther Open Challenge thing.
Yeah.
But I let's say Okada's not in the picture. I actually like the idea of title versus career against Gunther. Chad Gable says, I know I can beat you. And
I love that idea. I love that idea.
He deserves a big singles match at WrestleMania, bro. You cannot tell me he doesn't deserve it.
It's almost as big as like when everybody like hijacked the show for Cesaro to have a singles match.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to me. Get Chad Gable this singles match. Obviously, if you're going to do that, hopefully you let him win.
He's a beast, bro. He did the sick freaking German suplex off the top rope to Ivar, and I'm like, I don't know.
Dude's so talented. He's actually one of my favorite people to watch on the show.
I want to see him leave Alpha Academy.
Yeah, and I think eventually he will. I think, obviously, kind of like the Pete Dunne thing. You just got to let it play out a little bit and see where they go.
100%. I just think they're waiting. They're holding on to the trigger, but they haven't pulled the trigger.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very, very. I like it.
Love it. Thank you, Richard, for the super chat. Billy, you know what I thought was funny?
What's that?
And I had to talk about this.
Okay.
Because last time I said if they don't follow up with it, I'll be pissed.
What'd you say?
When Tegan Knox and Natalya and everybody was backstage with Adam Pearce.
Yeah.
Adam Pearce keeps walking. And he's interrupted by Jinder Mahal and Indus Sher.
Yep. I knew where this was going.
I just want to follow up on this, guys, because I talked about this last week. I said if they don't follow up with this, I'll be pissed. He didn't need to have a match. He didn't need to do anything other than tell Adam Pearce that he's the most talked about WWE superstar.
Which is, in fact, what Jinder Mahal did.
So I appreciate the continuity there.
Absolutely. And then you're also adding a new tag team into the mix, which I like.
So that's kind of where I want to lead this into.
Yeah.
We got to split those damn tag title belts. I don't know how many times
real fast, because I need these matches on Raw to make sense, and I need the matches on SmackDown to make sense.
Just, you're going to have tag team matches, but, it's just, you got to do something with it.
Absolutely agree. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, this is all going to be a nice, very, very big story that they have going on. I love it, man. I love the stuff that Raw is doing right now. I thought tonight was a great show overall.
I did too, honestly. I actually enjoyed Raw tonight.
It felt big. It felt important. It was a go-home show.
Yeah.
That's how you book a go-home show, people.
There's something that WWE does. It's very formulaic, but beginning, middle, and end. Those are like the three big things, right? So Drew, R-Truth, Damian Priest ending the show, Cody, CM Punk in the middle, Seth Rollins announcement in the beginning.
Yeah. Yep.
And then the rest of the stuff is like, okay, these are like the mid-card, like smaller stories.
Yep. You make them feel important too.
And they do.
But you do the big things at the hours.
The only thing I didn't care for, which it made sense, but this is where I hated the freaking crowd today. Like Miz versus Tom Mysterio.
Tom and Nick,
yeah. Like they had that match. And then the only thing I didn't really like is like DIY came out. And recently DIY has been getting a lot of reactions.
But these people had no reaction to them.
They had no reaction.
Yeah.
And I liked like the post-match stuff, and I don't know.
Meet in the middle.
The only other thing I wanted to mention too, and I'm pretty much good. I don't know if there's anything else you got, but I don't know why I loved this Rhea Ripley calling the big head thing, you know, Damian Priest like a big head or whatever, and then JD McDonough's right there like they just lean into the memes and shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I love seeing R-Truth drop the money and they're still playing into that.
So you know, there's people that think that's an Okada reference.
I seen that. Please understand that it's a storyline reference. I think we're digging a little too deep. Just saying. I
seen on Twitter people are like, "Oh, that's an Okada reference." I don't know, but here's the fun thing:
I've seen Okada references on WWE TV, and I know when they are.
Especially with Shinsuke.
Yeah, Shinsuke, Michael Cole. I know when there's an Okada reference. Gunther.
That definitely wasn't one. WWE tries to make it noticeable.
Right. They want you to think.
Where did I see this? I don't know if it was in Discord or if it was in the chat. Remember when I was telling you like they should do a faction with Drew and Shinsuke and like these guys?
We booked.
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
Somebody, and I forgot who it was, but somebody was like, "Man, what if this entire time WWE's planning for Okada to have a faction of his own with Shinsuke and Akira Tozawa?" And the reason why they would be doing that is obviously they are all bonded by ethnicity.
Yep.
Obviously Shinsuke and Okada have history as well, but
right.
It's so strange. Like I don't think that's possible, by the way, and I don't think that's likely at all. By the way, I don't think that's the plan.
It would be cool.
I just feel like right now there's so much stuff happening in WWE television where like if you're going to go that route, which again I don't think this is the route they would even go if Okada was coming in, but if you're going to go that route, I would say it's not been a good build for that. You know what I mean? Like they would have to go the CM Punk route, or you know, like when commentary was just constantly making references, or like Corey Graves or Michael Cole were constantly saying quotes from like Punk or whatever. Yeah. Like WWE would really have to lean into it hard, and they haven't really done that. You know?
No, they haven't. Not enough.
Yeah, not enough to actually feel like it's an actual reference.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've seen some people have some theories. They're like, "Oh, what if Okada, Nakamura, and Tozawa are all forming a group?" And I think it's kind of silly. But I kind of get it. Like, okay, Tozawa, a lot of people forget when Tozawa was in Japan with a serious gimmick, like he wasn't a comedy character. Right. He's the shit, bro.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, brother, like you said, man, it makes a lot of sense. Bonded by ethnicity. I mean, you can make it make sense. It's not hard. You know what I mean?
As an Albanian, there's only one Albanian wrestler in WWE, and he's in a tag team with a guy who is not Albanian. Yeah, and people think that they're both like Arabic or they're both Indian or whatever, but he's not. You know, one's European and one's not, obviously.
I'm very
interesting to see a representative group of my culture, like being an Albanian American. Like if there was an all Albanian group and they were all together and they were cutting promos in Albanian stuff, like I think it's cool. Like I would be very cool with that.
There was only one guy in my ethnicity. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
That I can remember off the top of my head that was really promoted as such. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was back in like 05, 06. He came out maybe the Royal Rumble in 06. Yeah. I'm Native American, by the way. Very, very Native American. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I'll look it up and I'll post it on Twitter or, you know, wherever. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Hold on. Are you talking about Tatanka?
Tatanka. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tatanka. I could not figure out his name for the life of me, dude.
Yeah, I remember him.
But yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. To see the Albanians and stuff on TV,
Like it would be cool. Like it would be cool for my culture to have that representation as a group where all of them are Albanian. They're cutting promos in Albanian and stuff like that. So
Right.
I do understand when people are like, oh, like, yeah, you throw 3 of them together. Like I get it. I see some people in the chat saying Great Muda. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love Great Muda being, with them.
Absolutely.
I don't think that would happen. I think that all of that is unrealistic, by the way. But some stuff.
Yeah. Shooting from the heart here, people.
Yeah. Sean G dropped a super chat, and then we'll call it a night. Sean G says, would you like to see WWE unify the Universal World Heavyweight Championship? And I'm going to 100% just say no.
Nope.
I figured you would say no as well.
No.
If you guys notice in my streams, a lot of my solutions to WWE's problems are split the tag team titles, like keep everything separate, like divide everything, bro. And it works out very good in WWE's favor. So I 1,000,000% would never support this. The World Heavyweight Championship is it's been incredibly done right. Like it's been very good. So
yeah, I agree.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
Guys, we fucking missed a very big Easter egg on WWE Raw tonight.
Are you talking about the woman?
Nope. Something completely different. I'm going to have to dissect this before I talk about this on a stream.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like WWE did do a very big Easter egg.
So everybody be sure to tune in to the next stream.
Yeah. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to have to watch it back on video.
Be sure, tune in.
My dude just sent me a screenshot. He's like, he's like, talk about this on your stream. I'm like, what is it? He's like, how has nobody noticed this?
So we're going to dissect a little bit more. We'll go into dissect mode.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Sean G, thank you for the super chat, brother. Guys, thank you for coming. Monday nights are very interesting because the show ends late. We don't want to stream until 3:00 in the morning, things like that. We try to keep it reasonable. Actually went a little bit longer than I anticipated. But if you guys aren't subscribed to Billy, you should click subscribe. If you're not a member on this channel, you could become a member. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, youtube.com/BillyTKO, youtube.com/@Ango. Robin Plays Games dropping a super chat. I see.
Mm-hmm. I have one more thing to say.
Yes.
To all the people that said I look like Dax Harwood, top 7-star FTR, baby. We're out of here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. 7-star FTR. Let's go.
Robin dropped a $2 super chat. I know why he's doing this. He's trolling now.
Trolling.
Give you a match. No. You got to earn it. You got to earn it, buddy.
Robin, you go through me now.
It's actually really cool, though, because 2K24 drops in March.
Yeah.
So, it plays into the WrestleMania 40 thing. I don't know. This will be a crazy overlap. But, guys, that concludes our live stream. And should be back tomorrow for NXT.
Yep.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Very fun show. Very good episode of Raw. And I look forward to doing more of these. Billy, I don't know why you're dancing, but that's our cue to call it a night.
Yeah, play the song.
Oh, hold on.
There it is.